Well, welcome on in. Buckeyes Battle Cry live again for you on a Thursday night at 9 p.m. We got a loaded slate tonight. We're gonna talk Harbaugh leaving the cupboard bare. We're gonna talk Tim Walton filling the cupboards full of defensive backs at Ohio State. The competition is between wide receiving corners in practice. Nobody can pitch that like Ohio State can pitch that. What else are we talking about, Rob?
We're going to be talking about the surprise of Justin Fry not being fired
Not
and
being on the hot seat.
not being on the hot seat and
And not being fired, yeah.
what he's not bringing to Ohio State
Not
and
bringing it to the table.
how much more patient Ryan Day is going to be. And then we're going to talk about college football's next potential dynasty, seeing that the GOAT Nick Saban left, so anybody could take that spot. But I have a feeling. I knew it's gonna be. We're gonna save that for later.
We're gonna
Also,
say that, man.
yeah. Also, we're gonna have a champ of the week and chump of the week.
Yes, we are.
Uh,
I'm excited. That's a new segment we're adding into the Buckeye Battle Cry Lives. It's gonna be fun, man. Who is your champ? Who is your chum? We'll get to that later, a little bit later in the show, probably midway through the show. Well, let's get started. First of all, first and foremost, we're gonna talk um about Harbaugh and about Moore and the hires that they're going to make or not make. Like, what are they doing? Like, they're not announcing anything right now.
I don't know, man. I think what Jim Harbaugh has done to the University of Michigan football program, the way out, I don't know. Let's say the worst happens and they just tumble. I mean, that could possibly be unforgivable. I mean, like
Yeah.
I just he took their best. He took their defensive coordinator, their
Yep.
strength and conditioning coach. Oh yeah, news. Jay Harbaugh is gone as well. It was
Jay
announced.
Harbaugh.
That,
Bye
yeah, he's
bye.
gone. He's gone as well. And
See
I've
ya.
heard a lot of Michigan fans saying that he's the most undervalued, underappreciated coordinator on that roster. So
He's been good every position they put him in, whether it was tight ends, running backs, or special teams, or anywhere else. He's been
yeah,
exceptional in his role. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's a nepotism hire," but he's actually been really good for Michigan. Unfortunately,
yeah.
I think you're
Unfortunately,
right, though, man. I think you're right. I think Harbaugh is clearly all about himself. He loves himself some Jim Harbaugh.
yeah.
He is pissed that his brother beat him in the Super Bowl. I forget what year it was. Might have been 2013 or
It,
14
it was 2013 when the lights went out, dude.
when the lights went out, and
Yeah,
that's their
the
only
lights were
saving grace
simple.
to get back into
Yeah.
that football game.
Mm-hmm.
And because they were down big at that point, they hadn't even scored a point yet.
Wait,
But anyway,
who was down big at that point? I forgot.
the Niners were getting slaughtered. It was like
No.
33-6 or something, or 33-zip.
Oh.
Or 23 zip. I don't remember. It
Yeah.
was a long time ago. But I know Niners were way behind the Ravens. So anyway, Harbaugh, yeah, he's about himself. He is clearly number one in his mind. He does not care about Michigan or the well-being of the program. And this is who it reminds me of. Check this out. Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Carr tarnished the program when he left. He hated Rich Rodriguez. He wanted a Michigan man. He wanted who he selected to be the next head coach to be the next head coach, just like he had been in succession. Well, that didn't happen, and so he badmouthed Rich Rod on the way out, and players left in droves.
I heard that he signed the transfer papers. Like all these
Yep.
players showed up at his office, and he's like, "Here, I'll sign it for you. Get
Before
out
the
of town."
transfer portal was a thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. For the transfer portal was a thing.
So it reminds me a lot of that because Harbaugh is completely destroying Michigan's staff. He's taken everybody that he wants. He's not leaving anybody behind unless he didn't want them.
Yeah.
Clearly, Clinksale is not an NFL guy, at least as far as I'm aware. He might be the next defensive coordinator, which would make me laugh hysterically. He's
Yeah.
a good recruiter. Don't get me wrong. He got Will Johnson. He got some other players like Mike Sanders. Still clear. He's got a good eye for talent in the defensive back room. He's not a defensive coordinator, bro. He's just not.
No, I mean, there's very few position coaches out there who take the next step and they actually thrive in like a main offensive or defensive coordinator role. I mean,
You're
very
right, man.
few.
So
Very
please,
few.
Michigan, if you're watching, Yeah, make Klinksail your DC, please.
Yeah, and like going back to like the all the internal hires they're making. I mean, it doesn't necessarily work. I mean, because look at what they did with he made Kerry Combs the defensive coordinator. That was just complete utter garbage. I mean, what happened?
Failure.
Yeah,
He was
utter
an
failure.
elite recruiter too, and
Yeah.
he could
Well,
not be a defensive coordinator to save his life.
that's why I'm not sold on Sharon Moore. I mean that. I mean people are saying, oh, he's a great recruiter. Okay, like, but can he be the CEO?
Can he be the CEO? We'll find out, and I doubt it. My guess is I doubt it, but we will find out, man.
Yeah. Going
Um,
going back to Harbaugh,
yeah. What's your
I know
theory?
you're
What you got?
saying like he's leaving the cupboard bare, and I think we both think he'd never really love Michigan. But here's my theory on that.
Yeah,
So, you know, clearly he's the best at resurrecting programs. I mean, look what he did from the beginning to his time at Stanford.
he's a
And
builder.
yeah. So he went to the 49ers. I mean, he really wanted to go to the NFL, got a shot at the 49ers, turned that team around, that one-win team around into, Super Bowl contenders. First year, they almost went. Second year, won the NFC Championship, lost to brother John Harbaugh. And then third year, went back to the NFC Championship, lost to the Seahawks. Now, fourth year, didn't have a really good season. I'm like wondering like what's going on. So like you just don't get fired after one bad season after the things he did. It turned out that there was turmoil in the locker room and there was turmoil with ownership. And so basically like the
Mhm.
49ers drove him out of town. And I guess you could say, I mean, he could have been blacklisted from every other hire
He
possible.
was, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm fully with you. I don't think that's a theory. I think it's fact.
Yeah. And so, here's Michigan's program. Brady Hoke just drove it even further in the ground than Rich Rodriguez did. And Harbaugh's like, "Oh, I'm Michigan's beloved son. I was 3-0 against Ohio State. I I was Bo Schembechler's best quarterback. I'm going to go back to Michigan. I'm going to use them as a stepping stone back to the NFL. And you know what? By the time it's all said and done, NFL teams will be crawling to get me. They'll be begging for me to come. And he did just that. That's why he wasn't like that was the ultimate goal was to get back in the NFL
It
and right
always
the
was.
wrongs that he made.
It stinks that they won a national championship on his way out on the last year with the COVID super seniors.
But that was the only way it was gonna happen though. I mean,
It's the only way.
it was the
And
only
with the
way.
way they were recruiting, that was the only way it was going to happen. COVID was the biggest gift to this program that ever happened. They didn't have to play Ohio State in 2020. They would have gotten curb stomped. They would have been 2-5 on the year. Harbaugh should have gotten fired and would have gotten fired. It wouldn't have just been a pay cut because we beat him 56-27 the year before. Would have stomped him in the horseshoe in Columbus for sure in 2020, and Harbaugh wouldn't have survived it. But that's revisionist history. He did survive it. They backed out of the game as in the cowardice way that they did. Had a spirited practice the very next day,
Spirit of practice.
and then that's the way the cookie crumbled. They got to avoid a beatdown in Columbus, but they're cowards, and then there always will be. So that's what they are. That's in their DNA.
Yeah, man. I mean, like as I was saying, like he just the way he's left the program, that doesn't say like University of Michigan was my first choice. It says that
Yeah,
they're my
yeah.
second choice. My priority right now is the first choice. So I'm gonna take what made me successful with me so I can remain successful.
And I have to go to a place where I can rebuild my image, and where better than Michigan's favorite son, Jim Harbaugh.
Definitely.
At Michigan. Where else to do it better than in college, away from the NFL? He's blacklisted for a long time, badmouthed by the representatives and the higher ups in the San Francisco 49ers organization. And guess what, man? They're better off without him anyway. Look what they're doing this year and in the past few years. They've been to the Super Bowl. They're back in the Super Bowl again, and they're a strong franchise. They're even better without him. Now I realize he took them to his Super Bowl, but they've been to two now within 4 years, I believe, or maybe it's five. But Um, Harbaugh is all about himself. He always will be, and he always has been. He's been a self-centered, arrogant prick, and he'll continue to be that for the rest of his days on Earth.
I think the Michigan thing. It was more to feed his ego than anything.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it was more. It wasn't for Michigan. It was more for his ego and to
okay,
prop up his status. So, yeah,
it could be, it could be. But yeah, man, I felt like taking a shot. I got fired up there for a second, so I took my shot.
yeah, definitely. I mean, like, look, if you really care about something, like, why not leave
Leave
where
it
you're
in
living
good
at?
terms.
Yeah,
He
leave it.
never leaves a place on good terms, bro. Never.
Yeah, I heard his relationship with Ward Manuel is crap.
It's in the trash, and if Santa Ono hadn't been there to save Ward Manuel's butt, then Harbaugh might not have been stuck around for as long as he did. So that's
Yeah,
just the fact of the matter. But let's move along. Talk a little bit about Ohio State Buckeyes football.
definitely.
Tim Walton, man, he is tearing up the recruiting trail, blazing paths from all over the nation to bring the best corners in the country to Columbus, Ohio. BIA, don't screw around. Don't come around here. Silver bullets are back, baby. And Tim Walton's a big part of that.
Definitely. I mean, like, if you look back, I mean, so you had 2019 Jeff Hafley. I
Yeah.
mean, that defense was on fire. Our
Elite.
one elite defense, one of the best defenses in the country. And then, like, I noticed the next season. I mean, when they made the playoffs and stuff. I mean, like, I'm like, man, this secondary sucks. But a lot of people didn't notice because they were too busy looking at the flashy offense. But I'm like, man, like, they're giving up 300 passing yards a game. They got torched by Indiana. They got torched
Remind
by
me, bro.
Clemson,
And
and they
Bama.
definitely got torched by Alabama. I mean, who
Bama
put
big time.
the linebacker on a who puts a line?
Yep. Tough Borland on Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. Good move.
Yeah, but I mean, then like that was my concern going into 2021 was
Well,
okay, like, and my concerns were right. I mean, 2021 defense was terrible,
it
just
was poor. It was very poor.
poor. Like, on all fronts. And then 2022, like, people were laughing at us. Cam Martinez got turned around. J.K. Johnson, nowhere to be seen. Can't even cover worth a lick. I mean, you have who is that? Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
I
Cam
mean,
Martinez.
no, you also had on who was I think it was Cam Johnson,
Okay.
number 26.
I think right.
I mean, that was arguably one of the worst secondaries. I mean, like, look at that Georgia game. They give up over 400, 500 yards on
It was pretty
defense.
pathetic, bro. 22 was a step up with Knowles, but we struggled in the big games versus Michigan and Georgia. And now 2023, we were elite in every single contest we played
Number one passing defense in the nation.
in the country, bro. Put some
In the,
respect on BIA's name.
I mean, but here's the thing. I was telling a lot of people, hey, give Walt some time. These players are Combs and Barnes recruits.
They
They're
were.
not that good besides Denzel Burke and
Yep.
Jordan,
Yep.
but they did better development, and this is what I'm talking about. So there was speculation with the secondary players under Kerry Combs, and a lot of NFL scouts. The chatter was that he's not teaching proper technique in terms of being able to locate a ball. I mean,
Locate the ball. Look
locate.
back on the ball when the ball's in the air.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why.
They weren't doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Tim Walton's the best. I mean, you had
Well, he was a superstar at Ohio State. Before college football was on TV all the time, Tim Walton was a baller in the secondary. If you go
yeah,
back and watch some tape or watch his check his statistics, dude was nice back there. And I watched a video of a recruit coming through, a cornerback from Cleveland, Ohio. I forget his name now. He's got a YouTube channel with about 400 subscribers. He's a junior in high school right now. And I watched him do the facility tour with Tim Walton and with the new coach, Guerrieri, the safeties coach. Both guys super charismatic, super friendly, super welcoming and inviting, and joking around with them. I guarantee that the guy who was in that video commits to Ohio State as long as Ohio State wants him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like Jalen Ramsey even vouch when Jalen Ramsey vouches for the guy, you know he's
Yeah,
a you know
legit.
he's a legit dude.
Tim
He's a,
Walton is a phenomenal coach. And can you imagine the battles that will be going on between J.J. Smith, Mylan Graham, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, and the corners that we're bringing in? Can you imagine what practice is going to be like? Because corners and wide receivers are known for yapping their mouth.
iron sharpens iron, man. Iron sharpens.
BIA on both sides of the ball.
I mean, like this dude is like giving Brian Hartline a run for his money in terms of the best
Yeah,
recruiter at Ohio State, and possibly
yeah.
in the dude is putting in work. I mean, he's a better recruiter than. Don't get me wrong. Kerry Combs was a good recruiter, but Tim Walton, he's on a different level. I think Ohio State's primed to get 4 5-star cornerbacks in the same class. I mean
This
that.
Alford guy, OFF guy, just got a crystal ball to Ohio State today from Steve Wilfong. He's coming to the Buckeyes. When Wilfong puts a crystal ball in,
Yeah,
he's right
it's
95% of the time.
that 90 95% of the time, dude. Now, if it was who is it, Kurlick?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was Kurlick, I'd be like,
Bill Kurlick,
oh, maybe not. But dude, it's the king of predictions
the
and
king of recruiting, bro. He
yeah, the
don't
king
put a
of
crystal
recruiting.
ball in until he's
Uh,
certain. That's just the facts. And Wilfong did it. So Alford's coming to Columbus. He's
and
going to join the best cornerback room and safety defensive back room in America. It's that simple. And he's going up against the best wide receivers. So why would you not come to Columbus?
yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I mean, like, just take a look. I mean, go back to the numbers. They didn't give up one big play in the air all
All
season.
season. All season.
One.
Not
They were
one.
wrong. That was in the college football semifinal against Georgia. I mean,
Mhm.
you had Lathan Ransom falling down,
Slipped. He fell down. Yeah, he slipped.
down, and then that last minute touchdown against Denzelberg. But in Burke's defense, he was injured all season. But kudos to him for trying to
But you're
try.
talking 22. We're talking 23, and there were no big plays given up. It just didn't
Oh yeah,
happen.
I was giving comparisons. I was giving,
Yep.
yeah, I was giving comparisons. I mean,
Yeah.
like it is just I don't know if it's more Knowles. I mean, it's got to be Knowles' defensive mind and Tim Walton's development, definitely.
Well, we run the 4-2-5 scheme, as everybody knows, and that's a change, and that's a big change. And I was really nervous about that initially with the Jim Knowles hire. I admittedly was not a fan of the Jim Knowles hire. I didn't like it initially. I've learned to like it because Jim Knowles is bringing in guys to fit his scheme now. And as he brings these guys in, and as these guys are in the system longer, in the scheme longer, they're clearly getting better. We're the nation's number 2 overall defense this season.
Yeah. Here's
It's
my
working.
yeah. Here's still my concerns with his defense, though.
What
I
you
mean,
got?
in a way, like I was worried that it was going to be like Don Brown's defense, where the crossing route just absolutely
Aggr-
just murdered
Aggressive
him.
blitzing nonstop, just like a college football, NCAA college football player.
So here's what needs to be fixed with that. I mean, look at the Michigan game. They got absolutely killed against Colson Loveland, the linebackers.
He
They
slaughtered us, dude.
definitely. I mean,
CJ Hicks, what do you think, man? Is he gonna be able to cover tight ends?
honestly, I'm glad that Steel Chambers is moving on. I think there's talk that C.J. Hicks is just a freak athlete. He brings a lot to the table,
That's
but
the talk. When I've seen him on the field, though, I'm a little leery. He looks a little bulky and a little slow to me. But that was just one play versus Missouri in the bowl game that I saw. He looked really slow on. So I'm not going to judge him too harshly on one play, you know?
the thing
Hopefully
that
he'll be the 5-star stud that he's supposed to be.
the thing that amazes me is like, so you know Harold Perkins from LSU,
Of course.
complete monster freshman year,
Yeah.
probably a first round pick. So like, what like concerns me, and this may go to development, is CJ Hicks wasn't that far behind him in terms of recruiting rankings. So, I
It's
mean,
true.
is it
It's
more
true.
development, or is it more CJ Hicks, or is it more Ohio State
I
just
think it's
doesn't
the
want to play?
combination because you saw Sonny Styles get on the field plenty of times this season, all season long. He was a starter as a young guy, as a freshman. So it's
I
not an Ohio State doesn't play young talent on defense. It's one to me. It's a CJ Hex thing. Not ready. Two, experience. I had him. Tommy Eichenberg was not ever coming off the field for anybody, even though he broke his thumbs. Steel Chambers, very good in run support. Not so great in pass coverage.
No, he's not. I mean, our linebackers they lost a lot of value in terms of the pros when they were great on their pass coverage. They were bad.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, it'll be interesting to see, man, how they grade out the combine with the three cone drills, the shuttles, the bench press, the 40-yard dash, and all the workouts that are done in combines and pro day. Because Tommy and Steele aren't the most athletic guys. They're not a Darren Lee, Ryan Shazier type of linebacker. They're just not. And it'd be interesting to see who Knowles goes after. What type of linebacker? A speedy, shifty one, or a run-stopping Big Ten linebacker like Tommy or James Laurinaitis or AJ Hawk or Bobby Carpenter
Speaking of
or
Larry
Anthony Schlegel.
Speaking of Laurinaitis, I mean, is there I mean, since Parker Fleming's gone, doesn't that open up a spot to,
It
send some
does.
the recruiting trail? I think
I would
he'll
think so.
do a lot of work and get some high profile guys and ones who can stop the run and pass coverage as well.
Okay, I see. I see. I see. I think it'd be interesting to see Laurinaitis get the promotion, man. And there's an opening on the staff, I believe. And so we'll see if Laurinaitis gets a promotion or not. We're gonna find out. But yeah, welcome into the chat, guys. Join the discussion if you'd like to.
Yeah,
We're going to transition here to a little bit. We just talked about Tim Walton. We're going to talk about and BIA and being the best recruiter on the Ohio State staff outside of Brian Hartline, maybe, and maybe even competing with Brian Hartline for the best recruiter on staff. But now we're going to go into a little segment. It's a brand new segment for us. It's called the Champ and Chump of the Week. Rob, who do you want to start off with? Do you want to start with your champ or your chump of the week?
I want to start out with champ of the week,
Who is your
and
champ of the week, Rob?
champ of the week goes to Jim Harbaugh for absolutely obliterating the Michigan coaching staff and
Mm.
being able to get back to the NFL to pursue his dream and not caring about what anybody thinks. I mean, he's taken one of the best defensive coordinators. He's taken a big part of Michigan. Like, dude is going unscathed again for NCAA sanctions as
It's
well.
like he's got a vendetta against Michigan, and he's completely destroying their staff and any hopes of returning to Indianapolis for a Big Ten championship game next year.
Yeah, definitely. But here's my chump of the week.
Who you got for chump of the week, Rob?
Chump of the week is Lane Kiffin, big crybaby, crying about how Ohio State is spending 13 million NIL money. But
Yeah.
buddy, like they're just adapting, not trying to die. I mean, it's a new era in college football. You need a bag man, and so Ohio
Well,
State is up to the plate.
well, shoot, man. What's Lane doing talking? I know he likes to open his trap a lot, but what's he doing talking? He just got Nolan out of the portal, bro.
I
You
know
can't tell me you didn't spend a bag on Nolan.
they've been doing work in the portal as well. You can't tell me you're not spending money on players. I mean,
Yeah,
they.
the defensive end from Texas A&M, he's not coming for free, bro.
I mean,
That was a couple mil.
he came from the money if he came from Texas A&M because I bet you they're often offering him a lot of that oil money down there.
Yep. All that oil money, bro. You already know that's right. So Lane Kiffin, keep Ryan Day's name out your mouth. Do you hear? Buckeyes battle cry come after you again if need be.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, man. That's a fun segment, bro. I love that aspect of the week. You stole my thunder a little bit, not gonna lie. You stole my thunder, but that's totally fine with me. I'll bring the heat too. Jim Harbaugh, you're my champ, bro. Thanks for winning the national title. I don't like that, but thanks for raiding the staff. Thanks for destroying any hope Michigan has of going to the Big Ten championship. Thanks for ruining the projection and the career of Sharon Moore before it even gets started. Clearly, you don't give a rat's rear about Sharon Moore and his coaching projection, what he's going to do as a head coach at Michigan, because you freaking said, you basically told him to F off because you told him, I'm going to raid half your staff and good luck, have fun hiring an offensive coordinator, hiring a defensive coordinator, hiring a strength coach, hiring to replace Jay Harbaugh. So thank you, thank you, thank you. With everyone returning at Ohio State, we are going to slaughter the Wolverines in the shoe, bro.
Gonna be no.
Slaughtering. Payback for all these 3 years now in a row. 2 years of beatdowns, one close loss, 37 yards short of a game winning touchdown. We're coming for you, Jim, Sharon. We're coming for everything this year. We're not coming just for the Big Ten. We're coming for it all. You think you won a title? Guess what? We're coming. Buckeyes are going to roll you in the shoe in 2024. Cannot wait. It's a game I'd love to snatch a ticket for.
Hey, you know what? The cheapest ticket right now is $255. You know what?
It's not bad.
You wait any longer, it's gonna keep going up.
Rob, we should buy.
So get those
I'm not
tickets.
even playing.
I mean, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm going to either Ohio State at Penn State or Ohio State versus Michigan in the shoe for sure. So that's just, I'm going to buy an
Wow,
expensive ticket this year
those tickets are expensive, man. I'm talking like they're going for 300 a piece right now.
at Penn State.
Yeah, at Penn State, probably a little higher.
More than Michigan game. That
Yeah,
shocks me.
I've been to Happy Valley, and it's an experience I'd never had before. I mean, I thought my eardrums were gonna burst. Like it was that noise level was insane. Like I thought they,
Yeah, it's like no other, dude. The whiteout game you're at, right? The Michigan Penn State this last year.
yeah. I mean, like it. Going there, it just like to me, I get that like small town working class vibe. Like you know, it's
Okay.
said that a drinking a drinking town with a sports problem, Pittsburgh.
Okay. I see. Yeah, no, that's interesting, man. And I want to go to a Penn State whiteout game at night. And I don't know what time the Ohio State Penn State game will be. That might determine if I go to Penn State this year, if I go to the Columbus for the shoe for the Michigan game, the game. So we'll see what happens. But
All right, on to Justin Fry.
Fry. Now I think we're torn. I think we're on opposite sides of the fence on Justin Fry, to be honest. But
Yeah.
give your take, man, and I'll let you speak, and then I'll give my opinion.
All right. So, man, I don't know why they got rid of Stud. I mean,
Should
he was
row, yeah.
a better recruiter. I mean, I guess you could say he could develop. I don't know why they got rid of him,
I
but
don't. I'm not sure.
yeah. Here's my theory on this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I that Chip Kelly was in Daisy or saying, "Hey, like, take Fry. Like, he can do good for you. He's young, coming
Yep.
off line coach." But I mean, I was looking at the recruiting cycles he was a part of, and he did there what he's doing at Ohio State now. I mean, he's not recruiting at a high level, and he's not. I mean, he's not really developing at a
Well,
high level. You
you're
look,
right. You're
you look
right.
at the Missouri game, and
Right.
it was like, part the Red Sea, Olay, like come on right in and sack the quarterback. It was pathetic. I mean, they had a month to practice. That is
It was
inexcusable.
rough.
It was inexcusable. But I saw that
That's a better word.
they got a top lineman from Ohio. So maybe he's turning around. Maybe he need more time. But I have a feeling that we've missed out on a lot of 5 stars because of Justin Fry. That's just my.
Okay. I mean, it could be. We have missed some battles. I think Miles Hinton was one of them. We didn't get him. We didn't get some other guys. But here's the thing: the Armstrong brothers were 3 stars when they were committed, but they became 4 stars later on. And so to get the twin brothers from Cleveland, that was huge for me. And then to win the battle over Michigan just now for Lowe, Carter Lowe from Toledo. Toledo is a border town. As you know, we were going to stop in at the Ohio State, at the Buckeye and Wolverine shop when we went down to see Tress in Lakeside this past August, but we didn't make it into the store. But it's a divided town. It's 55-45 Ohio State, and Carter Lowe could have gone to Michigan because why not? They won two Joe Moore awards out of the last 3 years, 2 consecutive years they won it in 21 and 22, and then they just ran for 309 yards in the national championship game, and let alone they just won the national championship for Pete's sake. Pisses
Yeah.
me off to say that, but they did. And so why not go to Michigan? It's
I mean,
because Justin Fry recruited him.
yeah, definitely. I mean, like,
So I'm a little bit on the opposite end of the fence and the spectrum for you on Fry. I was in a little bit of the hot seat for Fry entering 2024, not the fire Fry. I wasn't on the Firefly train, but I was on the he's on the hot seat heading into 2024 train. And I thought that he needed to bring in a couple 5 stars, like 2 to 3 5 stars in this class to redeem himself. Now, Carter Lowe is a high 4 star. He's the number one offensive tackle in the state of Ohio, and he could have very easily gone to the national championship Michigan Wolverines, but he wanted to come to Ohio State and Columbus because of the culture and the brotherhood, man. He wanted to join the brotherhood.
oh man,
And so I'm thankful for his service.
nothing better, man. The
Nothing
brotherhood.
better than the culture at Ohio State, which is strong, by the way. It's
And
not crumbling.
just the thought of being a hometown hero as well is compelling within itself.
It's
I mean,
compelling.
the state of Ohio will love you forever if you beat Michigan. Plain
Yep.
simple as
You never have to buy a meal or a drink again in the whole state, bro.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
just a, it's funny, but it's reality. It's truth, man. It's reality. That's why guys like Bobby Carpenter, James Laurinaitis stuck around in the media for so long that as they did in Columbus because they're superstars in Ohio State lore in our lifetimes, and they're on the radio in 97.1 The Fan down in Columbus, and it's a great show. They have an Ohio State segment for about an hour every afternoon, and those guys, Bobby Carpenter and Laurinaitis, was he's on the staff now. Of course, he wanted to come back to Columbus and be on Ohio State staff, but he was on local radio for quite some time, and then he was on Big Ten Network for quite some time. And he never has to buy a drink or a meal anywhere. He probably goes to Urban Meyer's Pint House all the time and gets free shots of Jägermeister or fire or the Fireball. Who
the, se-
knows?
the 7-0 bar.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there before, man. It's a great spot. Dublin's a cool place. It's a great bar. They got great food, and I'm a single guy, so I can say this. I'll say it, the waitresses are really, really cute. So,
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about the Urban Meyer and the waitresses though.
no, we're not gonna talk about that now. No, no, Carmen, Nebraska, Carmen. Yeah, no. So anyway, but yeah, man. Let's move on to the last topic of the
I
night,
got
bro.
I got a couple more things about Fry if you don't
Oh,
mind.
go for it. Yeah, my bad. My fault. My fault.
So here's the thing. Here's the problem I have with him not being fired. He's not
Ooh.
well. They just fired Perry Eliano because I can imagine for not recruiting well. How do you keep one on the staff for not doing that, but can't keep the other on the staff for not recruiting well?
hmm
I mean,
hmm
the hypocrisy.
How
I
can
mean,
you justify it? Right. I hear what you're saying.
you justify that.
Well, I think it might be because of who he's in on for 2024 and 2025 and the upcoming cycles. Like I mentioned, we just got low from over Michigan. We won that recruiting battle. And I think he's in on some other guys. I don't know. I don't follow recruiting to a T, especially not offensive line recruiting, unless they're a superstar, 5 star like Orlando Pace or something. You know, Taylor Decker, 5 star, lineman tackle. But I follow recruiting loosely. I follow quarterbacks and running backs, and I usually pick one play as my favorite. So I follow like three guys a cycle, and that's it. I don't follow recruiting tightly. So, I'm not on 247 or on three or any of those sites like Crawford is. So let's bring Crawford on for a segment at some point.
I mean, I kind of live on 24/7. I mean, I keep always
Yeah,
I follow Wilt Fong. I mean, he is the master at
yeah.
knowing where we're going. But I mean, like I always look every time like we land a new coach and they come for a different program. I always look back at the recruiting cycles of their team and see
Who
how they're
they get?
positioned, and then I go to look to see
Who are
stats
they in on?
those players, how are they developed, how do they progress over the years, and if they
Yep.
got it. I mean, that's a big thing.
It's important, man, and you're right. That's a good point. So after we go off live, I will go and research a little bit of Justin Fry and see who he's gotten and who he's missed on. I know he's missed on a lot of guys, so I agree with your point. He's missing on guys. He is, and he needs to improve on his hit rate. He does. He has to get these 5-star guys. We're an offensive line driven program. We have to protect these 5-star quarterbacks we're getting in Air Nolan, Tavion St. Clair, and Julian Sayin. We have to protect them, bro.
Yeah. All I can say is it's February 1st. What time is it? I think it's like 9:36, and Justin
Yeah.
Fry's still on the job. And you know what? Until he proves otherwise, I will be saying the same thing every day. All right.
All right, man. Well, I'm not on that train yet, but he's on the hot seat for me.
I mean,
And even still,
how could you not? So, last thing, how can you not be on that train? I mean, I was reading an
because of who he just
article.
got, and the Armstrong twins, and who he just got. Yeah.
I was reading an article beginning of the year, and the backups. Normally the offensive line, they run down the field to block. The
Mhm.
backups were just standing there clueless. That's on Justin Fry. How can you justify that?
Well, I think Ryan Day made a call on Hintzman to bench him, and that one's not on Fry. That's on Day, in my
Uh,
opinion.
all right. If you say
But
so.
that's just where I'm
Again,
at.
February 1st, 9:37. Justin Fry still has a job.
Justin Fry still got a job, bro. 1 minute later, he's still taking that paycheck home. Hopefully he doesn't get a raise though. Hopefully he doesn't get a raise this offseason. He
Yeah.
doesn't deserve one yet. So moving on to the last segment here in the Buckeyes Battle Cry Live. We are looking at a new segment here. We're gonna do some things that are a little bit different on the lives here. We're looking ahead to the future. Nick Saban, the GOAT's retired. He's gone. He's not coming back to any school. He's done coaching. He's taking it easy now. Maybe he'll get in the broadcast booth. Who knows? We'll see. I don't think that's in his personality to do so, but we'll see. So, Rob, you've looked ahead to the future. You predicted who are the top 5 programs that have the best potential to be the next dynasty, the next Bama, because it ain't gonna be Michigan, is it?
No, it's not gonna be Michigan, man. It's not gonna be Michigan.
Not the Wolverines.
Oh, coming in at number 5, they've really stepped up their NIL game. They're getting players that they shouldn't get, even though they're not producing
Ooh.
ends. And if you think I'm talking about the Miami Hurricanes, you are crazy because they definitely don't belong in the top 5. Ohio State broke them. That's it. But my actual number 5 is Clemson Tigers, and here's why. So
Oh, really?
yeah, 2015 to 2020, they were actually competing with Bama for national titles. I mean, we got 4 parts out of seeing them play each other, and they split, actually, no. Ala Clemson beat them twice in the national championship game to Alabama's 1. And then, 2020, uh, actually, no, 2019, Alabama
19.
make the playoffs. Clemson did. It just seemed like the
Yeah.
trajectory of Clemson
Yep.
was Alabama, and then
Surpassing them, maybe.
yeah, surpassing them possibly. I mean, they were killing it on the recruiting trail. And then, 2020, they got beat down by Ohio State. Then the NIL era started, the transfer portal era started, and Dabble didn't want to partake in that. He didn't want to play the NIL game. He didn't want to partake in the transfer portal like everybody
Yep.
else from, and their program's suffering right now. But Dabo's
Yes.
a good coach. Oh yeah, they also lost Brent Venable as the defense coordinator,
Sure did.
brains behind the operation, and being able to pull in a lot of recruits. I mean, Brian Brise and
Yeah, Brian
I,
Bruce.
I mean, both went first round. But,
Monsters.
Dabo's a smart guy. He's a great coach. I mean, we've seen where he could take a program. Took him a while though, but to me, he's elite. He just needs to
Is
stop.
he an adapter though?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's all these articles saying he wants to do it the old school way. He wants to do it his way.
He
But
does.
so we'll see if he decides like enough is enough. My job may be on the line. The donors, the boosters aren't happy, so maybe it's about time that I take that step and actually partake and buy and
So
do.
Clemson Tigers at number 5 for potential dynasty. Who you got it for?
Number 4, I have, I was thinking about the LSU Tigers and
Interesting.
Oregon Ducks, but I'm gonna have to say Oregon. I mean, Dan
I
Lanning's
agree.
a great coach, great recruiter. They
Good
were all
choice.
they were always one game away from making the playoffs, and it just seems like they're. I mean, they don't have
Dude,
East
they're
West.
gonna be a top 3 team entering 2024.
Yeah, they don't have a problem with the NIL game. I mean,
No, Dan Lanning's a great coach too.
yeah, he's a great coach. And they lost twice to Washington. Eventually
They
got the
did.
chip. I think that when they get in the Big Ten with their recruits, with their coaching and everything, and them playing the transfer portal and NIL, I think they'll be competing with Ohio State
They're gonna have to recruit the Lions better.
for They're going to be competing with Ohio State for years to come for Big Ten titles and making the playoffs. And let's be honest, Ohio State's not going to win them all. So I think
Nope.
Oregon going to
We're
be the
9-1 all time versus Oregon Ducks. Unfortunately, we lost the most recent one in 2021 in the shoe in a humiliating fashion with that terrible 2021 defense that we had. But I think it'll be Ohio State Oregon in the Big Ten Championship, a rematch of their October 12th matchup in Eugene, in Indianapolis this time for the Big Ten title, in Columbus or in Indianapolis in December.
Yeah, definitely. So coming in at number 3, I have the LSU Tigers. So I don't know why Brian Kelly gets a lot of crap. He's a great coach. Look what he did at Notre Dame with the resources he had, the
Yeah.
recruiting he had. They made the playoffs twice, made the Natty once. I mean, he never had the high recruiting classes. He just simply couldn't because the ceiling there was limited. So a great coach going on to LSU, the ceiling is a lot higher. I think that they'll I think that they could win some natties with the classes they have
Okay.
now.
Okay.
I mean, they have Bryce Underwood coming in. They have the number 1
They just won the
overall
Heisman
running
with
back,
Daniels.
number 1 overall wide receiver. And again, like there's a big staff overall. He hired. I saw the list. A lot of good coaches, a lot of good coordinators, position coaches. So he's making the right moves to be able to compete with Georgia. And you know what? I'm not convinced Alabama's going to be right in it. And, I'm just not sold on Lane Kiffin. So I see them competing with Georgia for that spot in the playoffs. I mean, the SEC championship, and I can see them making it deeper in the playoffs. I keep forgetting that there's a 12 playoff this time around.
I keep forgetting that too, bro.
Yeah.
It seems like it's 4 because it's been 4 since 2014. But yeah, you're right. So all right, we've got Clemson at 5, Oregon at 4, LSU at 3. Who's the 2 spot for future dynasty potential to
Number
replace
2
Bama?
is the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, Ryan Day was a great hire. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, he came in. He's made the playoffs 3 times. High recruiting classes. He's made the right moves. He's just a young coach trying to figure out. I mean, people want to say there's a program problem. No, there's a
No.
mental problem.
If there was a if
Heart,
there's a
heart.
program culture problem, you know how many players were to actually declared for the draft this year? freaking every single one of them that was eligible. And guess what? We have 11 draft eligible players returning to the horseshoe to play for one more senior season.
Yeah. And like so he's just a young coach trying to figure it out, but he's made the right moves. He's adapting. He's playing the NIL game big time. He's really hitting being aggressive in the transfer portal. So you know what? I think that they'll win multiple Big Ten championships again.
I
They'll
do.
be on top of the rivalry, and they'll make a deep run in the playoffs. I mean,
Will they win the 2024 Big Ten championship, Rob? Are you ready to predict that or not?
I'm sold. They're gonna win the Big Ten championship. They're gonna make a run in the playoffs, and they're gonna win Natty. They're just
Top
too.
four seed in the playoffs for sure, right?
Oh, they'll be the bye. I guarantee it. They'll
They'll
be the
get
bye.
the bye week. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And number one, who's it going to be for potential dynasty to replace
Sorry,
Alabama and Nick Saban as the best program in college football?
sorry, Buckeye Nation, but I am picking the Georgia Bulldogs, and here's why.
It's
If it
fair.
was, if it ever since Kirby Smart got there, and if it wasn't for Nick Saban, they would have been a dynasty already. I mean, the trajectory was there. Every roadblock that Kirby Smart met, it was because of Nick Saban. The 2017 national championship, the 2018 SEC championship. Uh, I mean, they lost to 2019. They were in the SEC championship, fell short. 2020, what?
Nope.
2020, they didn't make it.
Right.
Uh,
Didn't make the playoffs.
2021, Nick Saban beat them in the championship game, but they got redemption in the Natty.
Still made the playoffs.
2022, they just waltzed their way to the Natty, no
And
contest.
what happened in 2023, man? They lost and didn't make the playoffs
Nick,
this time.
Nick Saban's gone. Kirby Smart is a genius. He's out there playing chess, not checkers, bringing
Yep.
in people.
He's
Just
playing the
got
NIL game.
just got Alabama's secondary coach, and they have a lot of top recruiting cycles. And I just think that they're going to be winning Natties for years to come. They're going to own the
Yep.
S years to come. That is why they are the next dynasty of college football.
Okay, so you got Clemson at 5 for potential dynasty, Oregon at 4, LSU at 3, Ohio State at 2, and the Georgia Bulldogs unfortunately hit the number 1 slot in your rankings. I would switch Oregon and LSU if I was me, and I'd keep everything else the same.
Why would you switch Oregon and LSU?
I think they have a bigger upside. I think your points were valid for putting LSU above, but I think Oregon's in a better spot right now.
Are you talking about just because of the conference?
No, I'm talking about they're going to be a top 3 team in 2024. LSU will not be a top 3 team. It'll be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Oregon 3 to start the season, in my estimation, my prediction. And I think LSU will be lower than that. So, but it's not just a 1 year thing, it's a 5 to 10 to 15-year thing. I get that.
Yeah.
Can Oregon retain the coaches? I don't know. I think LSU could have Brian Kelly for a while. That might flip my mind a little bit, but I'd still put Oregon at 3 and LSU at 4, Clemson 5, Ohio State 2, Georgia 1 in my rankings. But that's just my personal opinion, my little flavor on it. So, no, I respect your opinion. I think it's a great opinion. I think it's a good one. It's a strong one, and I think you're probably not too far off, man. I hope Ohio State would be number 1 as opposed to number 2. But I think we'll win some national titles in the coming years. I really do. So
I mean,
we have a very easy schedule this year too, so that helps a lot.
I'm just a realist, dude. I mean, I deep down inside, I just couldn't ignore the Georgia Bulldogs,
Jordan.
man.
No, and I think you're right. They're a better spot right now. They're a better spot.
Yeah.
We're both in really good positions, though. Let's not get it twisted. So yeah, Georgia is in a better spot. I'm with you. I fully agree. All right. Well, any final thoughts here before you jump off the live, Rob, about anything we talked about, future dynasties, Harbaugh, Sharon Moore hirings, anything you got to add? If not, that's okay too.
I don't know, man. Like one thing that's been kind of concerning is the fact. I mean, Larry Johnson's getting older. I mean, what is
He's
he?
older.
71. What?
71.
It makes me wonder why they haven't brought in an assistant D line coach who he could take under his wing and mentor a bit,
I'm
show him
sure there's a GA on the
how
staff.
recruiting goes. I mean,
There's
they have.
got to be a GA on the staff that could groom that he's grooming, right? There's got to be, right?
I mean, there's word that the Pittsburgh Panthers D line coach actually is interested in coming to Ohio State. So why not sign him as the co defensive line coach? So I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
lo- we keep losing recruits. I mean, at one time in the 2024 cycle, they were gonna get Dylan Stewart, Justin Scott, and
Yeah.
Mark Lightfoot. I mean,
Yeah.
all gone because I mean, I'm gonna have to say because of Larry Johnson's age. And if you look at the technique of the edge players, it's not what it was. So,
Yeah.
and in terms of recruiting, I mean, how much more can Larry Johnson keep up? Because
Well, how much more negative recruiting can he endure? I know he's got a young heart. He's got a young spirit. The players love him, and he doesn't want to retire anytime soon. But you know he's getting negatively recruited. But he did just get a 5 star in Edric Houston, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. But within the next 2 to 3 years, we're gonna have to replace him. It's just that simple. And I
yeah,
don't really think you hire a co-position coach. You hire a co-offensive coordinator or co-defensive coordinator, but probably not a co-position coach. But maybe it's not a bad idea that you offered up. It's not a bad idea.
oh yeah, another
So,
prediction. I think Ryan Day is gonna bolt for the NFL after next year. I mean, they're gonna win the Natty.
whoa,
He's
he's
gonna
gonna pull a Harbaugh, but not kill our staff off.
yeah, he's not gonna kill the staff. I mean, his ceiling is gonna be higher than ever. They're gonna win the Natty. I mean that's the perfect opportunity.
That's a
They're gonna
freaking hot take, bro. That's a scalding hot take.
they're honestly, dude, like he's a great offensive mind. I mean, he's a great coach. He's
He'd have
young.
to go back as an offensive coordinator, not a head coach. I don't think.
Yeah, that would be.
Maybe.
I mean, I think it would be head coach if he's going to stay. I mean, why would you leave the Ohio State University as the
You
head?
wouldn't leave. You wouldn't leave. That
I
is a scalding hot take that we'll have to sit on that and chew on that a little bit more on next
mean,
week's live.
just think about it, man. They have all these players coming back.
Yeah, it's the best team he's ever had.
Best team he's ever had. They're going to win the Natty. More than likely break the record for NFL draft picks. And he's gonna. I mean, he's gonna take credit. He's gonna get a lot of the credit because he
He
brought
probably wanted to draft one of his
it
players
around.
too.
So
Yeah, that's an
yeah,
interesting thing that I never crossed my mind. I thought 3 to 4 to 5 years down the road for sure, because he's only been here 5. You
I
think
mean,
he'd leave after 6 years?
you said it before, man. The last two Ohio State coaches they didn't stay longer than 8 years. I mean,
Yeah,
Tresson had
Urban Meyer was 7.
Meyer, so I think
Urban
that
Meyer was 7, Fickle was 1, Tressel was 10, Cooper 13. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying though. They don't last long. It's a pressure cooker, bro. It's a pressure cooker.
yeah,
So those are my thoughts. That's the topic for next week. We'll dive into that more for sure because that is a juicy topic to throw in at the end there. Leave people want more, and leave people want more for next Thursday's live. So we're gonna go live every Thursday like we do at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Buckeyes Battle Cry. We are live every Thursday at 9. Don't forget that. Mark that in your calendar. Put it in your phone. Set a reminder. Turn your notifications on if you subscribe to the channel. And
tell your
don't
friends, tell your family,
tell your friends, tell your family. We're live every Thursday night. We
check out our
love it, man. We have a blast. We talked about Harbaugh. We talked about future dynasties in college football since Saban retired. Who's going to take the mantle? We picked Georgia. We both did. We picked Ohio State as the second best program in position to succeed. Alabama as the next great dynasty in college football. We're not just talking 2 year run. We're talking 3 to 7 to 10 year runs. We're talking a long term thing. And if Day does leave after 2024 season, like you predicted, the hire will be of the utmost importance. So we'll see what happens with that. I hope he doesn't leave. It would make a certain segment of a Buckeye Nation happy. It would make a certain segment bemoan. But we'll see what happens. So anyway, that's it for Buckeyes Battle Cry Live tonight. We really appreciate you guys joining in. If you haven't subscribed, we go live every Thursday at 9. We do a bunch of videos, controversial and calm and rational videos, analysis of Buckeye football, Buckeye basketball, and the like. So we appreciate you all joining in tonight. We thank you for joining in. We thank all the subscribers that joined the live tonight. Rob, signing off, man. It was good. Another good one. Thanks for your input and your fiery hot takes.
Definitely.
You have a good night, Rob. We'll catch you on the next one, all right?
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We really do.
We do. We'll see you next Thursday at 9. Bye-bye now.
Bye.